Just use the mouse or the
Okay.
arrow key. Do you want the lights on or off?
Let's do off. Oh, wait. Oh, wait, how do I go back?
Oh, click the X down in the bottom right. I think. You could just.
Okay.
Just use your fingers.
Okay, so this is my project. I'm doing Ethiopia's influence on jazz. Okay, so the overview, one of the first influential people in jazz is Mulatu Astatke. He is said to be the father of Ethiopian jazz. He is known for fusing jazz and Latin sounds with traditional Ethiopian music that created a distinct sound. After he came back from studying abroad in the 60s and 70s, he started experimenting with different sounds, fusing them together for what we know now as Ethiopian jazz, creating one of the most memorable jazz sounds called Tizita, which translates to nostalgia. Here.
Progressive Commercial Insurance offers affordable small business protection. You can receive discounts on commercial auto insurance.
So, yeah. Okay, what makes Ethiopian jazz unique? Traditionally, on the west, the Western has 7-note scales. On the pentatonic scales, there's 5 for Ethiopian melodies. It incorporates traditional Ethiopian instruments like the kirar, which is the one on the left, and the masinko, which is the one on the right, alongside other jazz instruments like trumpets, the vibraphone, and the saxophone. It's a key element in Ethiopian jazz also, like all 3 of these instruments. So the golden era of jazz was between the 60s and 70s. Artists used coded lyrics to express longing, struggle, and hope without directly criticizing the government. The 60s and 70s were considered the golden era of Ethiopian jazz because there was political tensions in the country rising, so people turned to music. Songs like Abit Lime by Mahmoud Ahmed and Salanta by Delahun Gessasa, which is my mom's favorite artist, carry deeper meaning, reflecting national nostalgia and a sense of loss. Despite censorship and growing danger, live music thrived in nightclubs and local venues, especially in the country's capital. Musicians continued to blend global influences with traditional Ethiopian music, creating a sound that spoke to both personal and collective experiences. So the first link is the first song, and the second link is the second song. Okay, in this song, you can hear more of like the funk and like the upbeatness to it. The second one is kind of more like the first one. It has like more of that nostalgic feel to it. So yeah. Okay, so the Dirk regime during the golden era, this was kind of like when it started to go downhill because of what was happening in the country. The regime, they imposed strict control over music. They didn't like promoting songs that aligned with socialist ideology and the revolutionary narrative. Many jazz musicians went into exile or stopped performing. Ethiopian jazz became restricted or underground. A lot of nightclubs and the city, the music scene started to go like dead. They crushed the cultural movement of Ethiopian jazz. They like transformed the liveliness and the experimental jazz scene into a more political controlled and repressed environment. During this time, instrumental jazz became very popular because of the lack of lyrics. People could still enjoy the music they were used to without getting in trouble, kind of like the first song I showed y'all. And for listeners and musicians, instrumental jazz served as a way to keep the ethnic and cultural heritage of Ethiopian music alive while avoiding the constraints of political messaging. The unique combination of Ethiopian melodies with jazz rhythms continue to provide a sense of connection to their roots. Okay, the cultural significance is it gave a voice of identity. Ethiopian jazz gave Ethiopia a unique musical voice rooted in tradition yet open to the world. It gave a form of resistance. During political repression, it became a powerful, subtle way to express emotion and freedom. Because even though like music was like somewhat banned, like there was like still a thin line they couldn't cross. Like they were still able to get their message across without saying too much. It also became a cultural time capsule. It preserved the spirit, struggles, and creativity of Ethiopia through decades of change. It became a bridge across generations, connects the past with the present, inspiring new artists while honoring the old, and it became a global legacy. Ethiopian jazz continues to influence musicians worldwide, proving the culture never dies, it evolves. And that's my project.
Thank you. One second, Hanan. Thank you, sir. I didn't know anything about Ethiopian jazz before you taught me. Now, do you have any questions for Hanan?